Hi, I'm Luke Garrard.
Hi, I'm Cameron Mawer.
Welcome to episode 3 of Coach's Corner. This is my BWFC Academy 11.
And this is my BWFC Academy 11.
It's on.
We're in.
It's on. So listen, we just got to lay the rules down from the offset, yeah? That we're not picking an 11 like we did with the National League first team, right?
Yeah.
Because I know, talking to you, how protective you are of your babies, quite rightly, what you've achieved. And I know how protective I am of my team, of what we achieved. Having spoken to the chairman yesterday, and obviously spoke about the fact that what we were doing today, I'm going to go through it, not now, but we will go through it over the course of the episode. 2, 4, 6, 8 players that he spoke about. I'd say 6 out of them 8 walk into my team, and in my opinion, walk into your team. So we've got to come to the agreement that we're not nailing down an 11. I'm nailing down what my 11 would be with regards to who I've worked with, and you're nailing down your 11 you've worked with. Yeah? Fair?
Yeah, I think we're looking at two different point of views. I obviously didn't see the boys before my time. But one thing I will say about whichever 11 you go with is they laid the gauntlet down to my 11. My teams, whenever I was the manager, were always based around with a little bit more pressure on it because of what your teams had achieved. I think you'd set a standard that was so high that we had pressure on our shoulders to go and replicate what you guys had done in the past. So I think for your 11, that's credit to them to try and to put the pressure on my 11 to say you've got to go and achieve it. You haven't got it, but this is what we've achieved. You've got to continue now the tradition that the football club's had as an academy and continue that through. So my 11 always had that little bit of pressure on them, I felt, because of what, say, your previous teams had done.
Which is fair. And I've got to be honest, we never achieved what we should have achieved as an under-19s academy. With what the personnel we had in it, I felt, and we'll digress on some of the bits moving forward. But I'm going to say now, I've worked with Cameron Baker-Owers, Danny Lewis, on probably just the last little bit of Danny Lou. Worked very closely with Cameron Baker-Owers. But I think there's one man, in my opinion, that I know probably your favour just as much as me, Freddie Burbidge.
Yes, Freddie's my goalkeeper. I haven't had so many in my time because Freddie was the mainstay in the 4 years really that I've been involved with it. He was on the bench in the Youth Cup as an under-16. And I thought the character and the charisma that he brought to even that role as a second choice goalkeeper in an FA Youth Cup game showed what the future was going to hold for him. And I think that's showed why he's done so well within making the first team appearance. And that's why he's at the moment nailing down a position of goalkeeper in the Ryman Prem at the age of 20, which I think anyone could say that is a very difficult thing to do. So Freddie was magnificent for us. He was magnificent. In the time with us, he won 10 trophies. He became an England international, and he made the first team debut and played for the first team. So I think as a young goalkeeper within an academy, I think that's probably more difficult than any other position, because for a goalkeeper to go and play, I think it's a scary and it's a difficult position to play in. So what he brought on the pitch was fantastic, but what he brought off the pitch was equally fantastic. He was a likeable character. He was a real buzzy. He would put a smile on your face when you see him. He was funny, and he said he had lovely support from behind him. His mum, his dad, and his brothers and sisters. They were all, wherever you'd go, you'd see them. Where no matter how
Blythe Spartans away.
Blythe Spartans away. His mum and dad
making his debut for the first team in the FA Trophy. No one can take that away from him. Made his debut for Boreham Football Club in the National League. So I can only echo what you said. I have to touch on Cameron Baker-Owers because he won me a National Cup, won the football club a National Cup, and he was a very good goalkeeper. I remember him now. He always wore his shirt outside his shorts. He was, and he'll say he probably didn't have the build as a goalkeeper. He wasn't athletic. He didn't have the 6'2" frame. He was quite robust, rolled shoulders, thick set. but he was a very talented goalkeeper and very good at penalty saves. That was one thing that I remember him in terms of that. And again, he like you said, he was a good lad. He had good support from his mum and dad. But for me, Freddie, what he's achieved under your leadership as the academy manager, I think speaks volumes that he's bumped Cameron Baker. I was out of the number one spot in my team because I worked 2-3 good years with Cams, and for Freddie to take his spot, and quite rightly, like you said, he's playing for Bishop Stortford currently in the Ryman Prem, and that's no mean feat. You're 20 years of age, and it's probably a specialised position. If I was to go and sign a player in goal, you wouldn't really want to risk taking a 21-year-old because they're wet behind the ears. But in fairness to Bishop Stortford and Freddie, he's now down a spot. So probably I'm going to say that's my one of three that will mirror your team. That's one of three. In my opinion, I think Freddie. I know the chairman's got Danny Lewis down here, and he spoke very highly of him. Danny Lewis won a national cup with the club as well. Love Danny Lewis again. They're mad people, goalkeepers, but I didn't work too closely with Danny Lewis. The chairman will echo his thoughts on Danny Lewis. You'd say Fred Burbage, and I have to say for me, in 8 to 10 years that I've worked within the academy, Freddie Burbage is for me.
I've got one at the moment, Donovan, who's in the sticks, who's got all the attributes to go and be another sort of Boreham Wood goalkeeper on the way. When we spoke about the Boreham Wood 11, the distribution of Grant, the distribution of what Rusty could do, I've got one at the moment, Donovan Green, who potentially could go on and be a very, very good goalkeeper for the football club. His quality of his hands and feet are there, so I just have to give him a little mention within it because he's an exciting goalkeeper as well.
Nah, perfect. Just out of interest, what's your shape?
It's 4-3-3.
We only really ever played as an under-19s a 4-5-1, 4-3-3. Never played the 3-5-2, but I'm going 3-5-2 because, and we'll kick on with them midfielders later on in the chat, but I was so strong centrally that I had to forgo a defender to enable me to get 4 centre midfielders in the team. And that was moving one out of position to an extent. But I'm a 3-5-2 just to try and get the best bit of quality into my team. Who's your name the one centre half that you believe I've got in my team, that you have in your team?
It's a no-brainer. Ben Goodliff. Ben Goodliff was a throwback for me when he came to an old school defender who enjoyed defending. He'd put his head in the line. He would defend with an enjoyment and a passion where it meant something for the ball not to go in his goal. I remember him getting nutmegged in a session, and within 5 minutes, the boy that nutmegged him got lifted up in the air and told never to do that again. And that just reminded me of an old school sort of way about where you don't let someone do that to you. And he was a real man amongst boys at times when he come in. He obviously represented England. He was sought after for England straight away. He was in my National League 11 in the previous chat that we had. So obviously my thoughts are good. You're very high. He come from Tottenham, which is a big downward step, and meant psychologically that can affect you. But not with him. He come in and he was about everything about the football club, and it was no surprise when he made his debut for you. And then there was no surprise when he went on and got a move up to quite a few clubs going after him. But within the academy, he never saw through. Never managed to win anything with us. He left and come for all our cup finals afterwards. But he was. Yeah. That shows what kind of person he was. But he was a joy to work with, and he was a joy to have around. And there's no surprise that now he's becoming a regular in the Sutton team and probably one of the best centre halves at the level. And it wouldn't surprise me if he kicks on again and goes back into the Football League.
No, I agree. I have to say, listen, he's going in at left-hand side of my three. He's keeping out the likes of Sammy Doolan, Ruddock Yala, David Cisse. And them 3 names for me, Ruddock Yala, his brother Yannick, plays in the Prem. He was superb, Rud. Absolutely superb. Big, thick set bum, big hips, could motor, could run, could tackle, could head, but could play. Played as a deep line midfielder at stages for us. Sammy Doolan, again, probably just before your time. A no-nonsense centre-half. But I look at Ben Goodliff and I have to say, what was he, 25, 30 goals a season?
Yes.
Used to love your number 4 corner, a little rotation, someone fade out, he goes and exploits the space, front post. Used to go and attack the ball with an intent. And we speak about him now when he was at Dagenham, when he's now at Sutton. We have to get one of our better markers on him because he does go and attack the ball with an intent. But yeah, listen, I have to agree. He's my left side centre half. Where's he going at your back 4? Left or right side?
So he's gone at left side centre half. That's where
John Terry, isn't he? He loves to play that left-hand channel. Yeah. Even though he's right-footed, he loves to play that left-hand channel, can cut inside the big angle ball. Yeah, no, listen, I have to agree on that. I think what he's achieved past the academy, being with the first team, playing them 3 or 4 games with us. I remember it, going to Tranmere, 2 minutes in, Andy Cook peels off him, chest volley goal. And it was like, where's he going to go from here? Because this could be the makings of him here. And he didn't shirk it, rolled his sleeves up and had a tear up. So now, in fairness to him, I totally agree with regards to him going into my National League 11 and BWFC Academy 11. And I can imagine he's going into your BWFC Academy 11.
He's my skipper. If I said he'd be my skipper in my squad, just because of what he emphasises and what he's about.
Fair. He ain't my skipper, but fair. Who's your right side centre half?
My right side centre half is somebody that athletic, gets about. He got around Cuba Gordon, and again he's another one making a name for himself at the level with more than the Tiptree. Played in the FA Cup this year. Has done very well for himself. He can get around the pitch. He's so mobile. He had all the tools necessary to play at a level. Again, he was a mainstay within it. But Cuba was excellent. We had some good times together. He was a centre half and led the line within the group that were 8 minutes from winning every competition they entered. I remember seeing him at the end of the game. He was devastated because he wanted it that bad. He loved being part of the football club. And then another one who, if he can work with his tools as he gets a little bit older and a little bit more mature, he'll understand his body a little bit more. He could go on and progress up through the pyramid again. Another young defender playing at a good level with more than Tiptree could have the opportunity. So he goes alongside Ben Goodley for me.
Good. Cuba, I just want to touch on Cuba. I love Cuba. Love his hair. Love his parents. Like you said, achieved what he achieved within the academy was outstanding. Yeah, so I can totally understand where you're coming from with Cubes. I've gone for, obviously, a back 3. So my right side centre half is Lee Close. Closey was magnificent. England Schoolboys International. Made his debut for the first team. Currently still playing, I believe, in the Spartan Prem. Leggy. Great passing range. Tenacious. He's one of them sort of Hertfordshire boys that fronts it all. Don't care. Wants to go and have a tear up with anyone. And in fairness to him, yeah, he was a great character in and around the club. Got his England call-up. Played for the first team. I just think, yeah, I could have had David Cisse. Haas was awesome. Was absolutely outstanding for us. Played right back, left back, played through the middle. But I just think his all-round game, Closey was better. I have to say that. So, yeah, for me, he goes in at right side centre half. Who's your left back? This is an interesting one for me. It's a really interesting one because I've got 3 or 4 in my head where I'm thinking where you're going with it. And I'm going to go... No, go on.
Go on.
You're either swaying Josh Codicott, Kai Wynn, or Luke Brophy.
Gone away from it all. I've gone because it's more on who I wanted to put in the team. I think certain boys deserve to be in the team. I could have gone with Josh there, even with the same sort of ideas, but I've gone with Jack Gibbs, the left back for me. Was Mr. Versatile. When you look at where he played for the academy, he played right back, he played centre half, he played left back, he played centre midfield. He done every role, and he done every role equally as well. He was that type of person, same as Josh, who would go in and do a job anywhere you asked him to. Another one that joined us when we were under 16s, part of the EGA team that won it all. He won 9 trophies in his 3 years at the club. Again, he was a leader when he played. He became the academy captain. People followed him when he spoke. He led by example more than anything. If I'm honest, he would, again, in the mould of Ben Griffith, he enjoyed defending. I don't think barring Goody, I've had anyone who's as strong as him in the air. He would win every defensive header in his own penalty box, and in his time he got better and better. Another one who I felt could have kicked on with his desire to defend, but I think he's gone to Holliston now. But another really good lad with a really good family behind him. Emphasised everything about the club, and he was part of a really, really successful group which had a great camaraderie. We used to do singing before the games. Nothing I remember. If you were late, you'd have to sing 30 seconds, favourite song. So he was part of that group, and the memories that him and his peers will have will be forever. But I've gone for Jack Gibbons at left back. So I just think he'd give back for that strength there, and I think he deserves to be in the side, and it helps balance out a few others also deserve to be in the side. So my left back is Jack Gibbs.
Listen, love Gibbo. I think he's fantastic aerially. I think he's fantastic defending. You touched on the fact that he played across everywhere. He was your skipper. Again, I can't argue with your point. I got to be honest though, Brophy, Kai Wint, and Joshua Codicott will be watching this thinking, I'll give you just as much as a good service. But like you said, listen, you can only pick 11. So in fairness to Kai Wint, who's been brilliant for the BW Pace Academy, Luke Brophy got his England call up this year. Again, looks like he can progress into a lovely footballer. He's got another year ahead of him next year with the academy, and hopefully touching the first team. You look at Josh Codicott, what he's doing currently in Kings Langley, I believe. So, look, 3 players that have missed out on a spot. Quite rightly, Jack Gibbs nabs it. My central one of the 3. He walks into any team, BW Pace Academy, from when the chairman started it to now, without fail. And I spoke to the chairman yesterday, and he gave me 3 names. Give me 3 names to ensure they were in the team. And I went, yep, and yep. Bradley Fraser is by far the best centre half the club has produced in a long, long time. And what he achieved, when you said 20-year-old that goes and plays for Bishop Stortford in a league that's tough, but you're in and around mid-table. He was a 17-year-old asked to come in, play right side centre half. I believe it was 12 to 15 games remaining, and then he played in a playoff final against Kingstonians, and we won. To achieve that as a 17-year-old is outstanding. And not only what he did, I remember I played right back that year, and Ryan Moran played left side centre half. Bradley Fraser come in, and it wasn't about Bradley Fraser raising his game. Me and Ryan Moran looked at each other as if we're to say, this kid's starting out. We've been in 10, 12 years earlier, and you need to look upon people as experienced to get him through the games. The level of performance that I raised my game to because of him, and Ryan also, was outstanding. And to play alongside him and to achieve what we did in that Ryman Premier League final, I was an academy coach at the time. I wasn't actually academy manager. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing because at times I played with him at right side centre half, and I had Kamal McEwen in front of me at right wing. And I felt it in my babies. Like you can hear, you're endearing. When you talk about your players, you can hear it. It comes from here. To play alongside Bradley Fraser was an absolute privilege. And why he hasn't kicked on, he'd know that. But for me, hands down, the best centre half by a country mile. 6'3", was big, strong. I remember I had to go and talk to referees at under 18s level to say, look, you know he's barging their head because he's that big. You have to give him an out. So don't give silly free kicks when you know he's just really strong. So for me, he's my skipper. He's my leader. I've got 2 or 3 skippers in that group that I look at, and I'll probably name them all as captains. Bradley Fraser's one of them. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the kid. I see him at a reunion, a memorial tournament a few months back, and he smiles, his big gold tooth lights up, and I just adore the kid. I adore the kid. The reason why now I'm saying what's your right back, because I'm going to filter into my right wing back. So what would your right back be?
He only played there a handful of times. I remember first time I met him, and he got sent off the first time I met him in a pace game. I think in his first year, he was exactly what he said in the tin, and that's Ezra Bolt. I couldn't go a team without putting Ezra in there. It's like people that I love.
I love Ezra. I love Ezra Bolt. I absolutely love him. He was a rogue, an absolute tearaway. But when he comes to work, as in terms to the college, I'll go war with him tomorrow. Yeah. I absolutely love him. And I know probably why you're putting him at right back, because you want to get someone else in centrally. I get that. But for me, as a centre half and a centre midfielder was his strength. Yeah, was his strength. It wasn't at right back. But listen, I totally appreciate your point. I do. He is an absolute hero. I love him. I absolutely love him.
If there's one person who he's had a cheeky way about him, you knew what Ez was, but once he stepped across that line, he can put everything out there for you. He would go and bully people in the right way. He improved under the 3 years at the club so much. Someone that you said you'd have so much time for. He'd have time for anyone he come across. So as soon as he stepped on, his education he was spot on with. But just somebody who again was part of that successful team that were 8 minutes from winning the treble. I keep saying it, and he was brilliant and loved him to bits. And like you said, he was probably stronger centre of the pitch, but I like the back four. I like having that big back four because particularly what they've got in front of them. If they get the clean sheet, they'd win any game. So my right back is going to be Ezra Bolt.
Well, I'm going to bump up to right wing back. In fairness to him, he played a lot of his games as right back in the first team. Another leader, another skipper. It's Charlie Hunter. I have to say, for someone that can score from the halfway line on more than 5 occasions across his career, you have to have a special talent. He had left foot, right foot, played him as the deep liner. Technically superb, sees the game, understands the game, and very much like Closey, the Hertfordshire-esque sort of mentality, didn't care who he come up against. And if you said, I'd whisper in his ear, Charlie needs to be dealt with. He's running the game. 2 minutes later, goes and folds him in the eye. And for him to achieve what he achieved at England independent schools, England colleges, and to make in excess of 50 appearances for the first team at National South and National League, or National South and Ryman League level is outstanding. So I'm going to share the captaincy between 3, Bradley Fraser being 1 and Charlie Hunter being the 2nd. Like you said, a leader of men, people listened to him. So when he spoke, people respected the fact of what he's achieved in his career and they listened to him. So for me, he's my right wing back. Would he be aggrieved that he's not centre of the park? Yeah. Would he be annoyed that he's not running the game for me through that midfield third? Yeah. But when I then name my midfield 3, he'll be very appreciative that he can play with them. So I totally understand that he'd probably want to play central of this BWFC Academy team. But unfortunately, I'm putting him right wing back. So he'll have to deal with it. Who's your left winger? Because I'm going to then go left wing back.
Left winger is the pin-up boy at the moment, Super Thomas. You can't look past it for what he's done and how far he's come. Because I talk about Sorbs and people see the Sorbs now. Who don't know the Sorbs of 5 years ago? He was a pace player. He weren't in the elite side, and the story's been found a lot that he used to travel across from the club to our alternative site to train, because he knew I was the elite manager at the time and he wanted to train in front of me. And that's his desire to progress. One of his peers, Bradley, was in the elite side. He's a trained sub, would stand on the fence talking to yourself about how he was going to get in the elite team one day. And he went on from straight. I remember his reserve team debut. It was a tough group to come into. They didn't accept many newcomers, and I brought the swords from nowhere. And I remember I took him off after 65 minutes, and every single player was clapping their hands. And when I saw them playing up, and they could see that they knew someone had come in who was special for the level, and he just grew and he grew. He's probably one of the dumbest people I've been involved with, but he's a lovely kid. He's worked his socks off to come from a pace to elite to reserves to first team. And somebody that doesn't always agree with you. He doesn't always go with the grain. Sorba would go with what Sorba wants to go with. He's very strong about his opinions on what he sees as right and wrong. And I think that has aided him as well as hindered him at times. But I said there isn't a person probably in as much as you don't have favourites. Sorbs, I love him to bits. I love him like he's one of mine. He's now achieving what he set out to achieve 5 years ago. As much as now the hard work's ahead of him, and he knows that, and that's echoed into him every day. He has been fantastic. We had a champion final. We played Guiseley at Oxford City. We missed our talisman Bradley Sachs weren't playing, so I gave him the armband and said, "Sorbs, you've got to go win this for us." And when I mean he stepped up to the plate, he went and done his business, and he was superb. And it just watching him grow has been I think amazing. You can say about the care and watching him grow has been fantastic, and he's grown into it from a boy to a man under our stewardship, and it's been good to watch. His performances this year have sort of emphasised on what he's about. He's on the front foot for the academy he played. He got a luxury of playing a cheating of a free, so he'd stay high and wide. And I mean, every time he got the ball to him, the ball would end up on the money 9 times out of 10. He was frightening. Some of his goal for the academy were different class. And again, he's somebody that you can't look past at any level. He went and played for England. He went and achieved everything as an academy boy that was possible. And now it's over to him to see how far he wants to go as a first team player, because that's going to be a different kettle of fish. But no, without doubt, my left and my free. And he's one of the reasons I couldn't play a 3-5-2. I know he plays that, but when he was in the academy system, we played the 4-3-3, and him and the other wide boy. I needed them to be as wide boys in the system because of how we played when we were at the academy. But yeah, Sorba.
Yeah, no, I've got him at left wing back, and I touch on the fact that that game against Guiseley at Oxford City in the final, his best mate Bradley Sack wasn't available to play, and I got to be honest, Sorba was on a deal, off a deal, on a deal, off a deal, and I have to say that day, the minute after the final whistle happened, I spoke to the chairman and I spoke to him at length about Sorba Thomas. And we made a conscious effort to put him back on a deal. And I think that was a massive catalyst to see where he's currently now propelled himself. But yeah, I've watched him in that left of a free up top. In an ideal world, he plays left of a free up top in the National League, because you see it at Hartlepool. When we changed the shape going 2-2 and we need to get another foothold in the game, he went left of a free, and I'm going to say a handful of people come up to me, that's the best offensive play we've seen at Hartlepool in 5-10 years. So what he has achieved as a BWFC Academy player and he's currently achieving as a National League player is brilliant. Why? Because he was the boy that hung on the net, the fence at the training ground, and was going, I'll be in there. Gaffer, I will be in that elite squad. Then he'd come and watch the first team. Gaffer, I'll be in your first team. So now, 100%, totally agree with you. He's my one of 3. There's one of 3 that would get in. Fred Burbage, Ben Goodliff and Sorba Thomas. I didn't say, I spoke to the chairman on this, obviously with regards to other personnel. So obviously we've done our back 4 unit now and our wing backs as such. He said Yemi Atta, Tom Nicholas and Bradley Hewitt. I didn't have the luxury of working with them 3. I oversaw Yemi Atta and Tom Nicholas in terms of as an academy coach. And Brad Hewitt, I only know of him because of what he achieved as a 17-year-old at Boreham Football Club. And I have to say, his back 3 got better than my back 3. They're close to nailing down the back 3 spot. So when this all done, he needs to do a team, because it will be such good viewing to see what he would come up with. Because Bradley Fraser, I said, no matter what, you started from day dot to now, Bradley Fraser's any team. Yemi Atta, Tom Nicholas, and Bradley Hewitt are telling me different. Then I temper that with, I've got Greg Morgan, right wing back, in my head. That's where he'd play him. Played 150, 160, 200 games for the Bournemouth in the Ryman Prem in the Conference South. Then I've got Lewis Donovan as left wing back, left back. And I know Lewis ever so well. Again, never had the luxury of working with him in terms of running an under 18s. But yeah, 6'2" powerhouse, could run up and down all day, got a left foot like a wand. So again, I look at your back four, which is outstanding. I look at my back five, which for me is outstanding. Then I look at the chairman's from day dot running it back in 2000. His back five could trump both our back five and your back four. So the caliber of personnel we're talking about currently, and I've not even alluded to Luke Williams, who is an outstanding centre half. Them three defensive units alone show the strength of what BW Pace has been about. And I have to give your team credit, because me and the chairman will sit there now and we'll have a three-way conversation. It'll be, nah, he's better than him. He's better than him. And you'd go, yeah, has he won 9 trophies in the last 3 years? No, Cameron. Has they won 5 national cups in the last 3 years? No, Cameron. So in fairness, what you've achieved and the accolades from your back four speaks volumes. But my back five's better. So now, listen. So we'll go midfield 3. So you've not got any of my midfield 3. Quite rightly, you've not worked with them. I'm really looking forward to your midfield 3. Who's your best? Who'd be your best?
Be between two. I'm going to have to go. Wait, who do you think my midfield 3 is first?
You're going to put Illiman in there, 100%.
Yeah.
Talk about Illiman then, because he's him.
Illiman, he can do
Where
things with football.
Where are you playing him?
Playing him on the point. So I'm playing 2 and 1, Illiman as a 10. What Illiman can do with a football, and I think a lot of people who might watch this might know of what he does, because he's very big on social media, and he's obviously his move to Sheffield United was quite well known. But I remember Illiman who didn't have a program. I remember Illiman who going into October in his first year didn't have a program to go to. Someone contacted Drew about the program that fell apart, and we as an academy made a conscious effort to go and pick a group of boys up, bring them to the club, get them enrolled, get them sorted out, and give them a little bit of a G up, because they had nothing. An angry set of boys because they were been sold a dream by a program, and they were left with nothing. And we the chairman backed it, and we put in place quite late in the day, but a program for them all to do. And Illiman was one that I remember. I think you got him out on the training pitch, and us three were doing a little bit of a keep up. And I look at some of the things he was doing, I was thinking, he's another freestyler. How many freestylers we had in the program? But as he developed and as he got better, he started making good decisions with it. He started getting a little bit stronger with it, and he's a kid out of the middle of Paris, and he's had a tough upbringing. Through, won't mind me saying that he's tough in how he is. He's had to graft and work for everything he's had, and that comes out in his play, because he's an aggressive little bugger. To go with his freestyle and his skills and his decision making that he started developing. I had him for reserves, and I can't remember where he was, but I think it was North Greenwich, and I dragged him at half time in 2 games, because for all the freestyle in the world, if you want to try and take people on in your own half and give the ball away and cost goals, you weren't going to have it, because I saw the potential within him that he could go on. And he hated it. I remember he ate for a little while. He probably disliked me quite a lot. But I was trying to teach him the things that he could do. If he did them in the right areas, he could potentially go on and go to another level. And I think eventually the penny dropped for him, and he started doing it in the right areas, started being really effective in games, and he was hurting people, and he was just making good decisions. And that went on to him in the second year, who was frightening the part of the Champions win. Then in his third year, he had a superb. He was in with the first team, and he's probably one of the only academy players that come into a first team session at national level and sit people down, go past them the sole role, and the boys would go, "Oh, yeah, I want to be in my team." He was that much of a talent. We would question his temperament because he would cause a few issues off the pitch with his temperament and how he was. But that was it, man. If you took that out of his psyche, you probably would lose half the player that he is. He's a kid that I spoke to him yesterday, so I still keep in regular contact with him because I know that he needs a mentor. But as a footballer, I believe he would get in at this level. We'd get in a team. He's now at Sheffield United playing with the 23s, trying to develop himself a career. But I had a relationship with him which was special because he was a special talent, and I'm delighted to have him in my team as a footballer. Again, off the pitch, he had a lot of issues, but he was one of the most talented people I've had the pleasure at this level of working with within my time.
No, listen, Illyman was a talent. Let's not. First session, he come in with them 12 lads. We integrated them into a pace session because we didn't know the level, and we was in awe. And we all said, "Yeah, there's one. He was a standout, one out of the 12, wasn't he?" Then he was good. His ability spoke for itself. But I'm going to temper that with, if we were playing a game of trumps now, and you've got Illyman at overall 89, I've got one kid, and in the 10 roll. So we're going to talk to the 10 roll. So I've bypassed my 2 deep liners. I've gone up one to my 10 roll. He's a 95. So you'll be handing Illyman over to me into my pack, and I've got Illyman in my pack because my man trumps yours. And that's me being slightly ruthless to an extent, but John Clements, I'll go again. So in the Ryman Premier year, we had Ryan Kirby right side centre half. We had Leon Hunter on the point, and we was doing really well. We had 12 games to go, and I believe Leon Hunter got injured. John Clements goes in, plays the first game, I think, against Tunbridge Angels. And there's a kiddie, Kinch, you'd know him, big fella, like black braided hair. He's animal, horrible individual when it comes to 90 minutes worth of football. I remember it so clearly. Clem has absolutely folded him within 4 minutes. And he's playing, he can't get enough of him. Clem's all over him like a rash. Clem wasn't ability-wise top draw. He had neat technique. He was nice on the eye to an extent, but wasn't technically good. Didn't used to whack balls here, there, and everywhere. Used to pull him out the sky. Nah, he was willing. He had energy. He had power. He wanted to go and hurt people. He played in that 12-game run towards the end of the season, and also in the Kingstonian game, and won a Ryman Premier playoff. He then travelled up and around the National South with us until he went to America. And he went and fulfilled a dream out there and had a scholarship out there. But, yeah, for me, and that was one of the chairman's 3. He has to go in. He has to. And the minute I said, yeah, he's in, it's a no-brainer. For me, it was. I still talk to Clem now. He's like a friend of the club. I know he's really close with the chairman and Charlie. What he achieved with us and England Colleges International, he's just a top fella. Absolute top fella, and could probably be playing higher. Scored a shed loads of goals at the club he's currently at, but they're 2 very talented players. And I have to touch on Harvey Scott Morris that hasn't got in. Harvey Scott Morris, who was again the Lee Close, Charlie Hunter, Hertfordshire sort of mindset, scored a shed loads of goals at under 19 BWFC Academy level, but Clem's for me the one. So we have to agree. Listen, we're never, ever going to agree on anything. Why? Because you've never had the luxury of working with Clem. I've seen Clem and I've overworked with you leading it with regards to Illyman. But I have to say, Clem for me, yeah, he's nailed on. Who's your...
I'll touch on...
Go on.
I'll touch on like George Beattie, who was also in there. Yeah. He was a great servant to the football club. He was... come in. He was an A-level boy as well, which is always tricky when you do your A-levels and you're elite playing. There's a lot expected of you, and he done both so well. And he was I got a year with him, but he was close to it. He was close to it. He probably in the end maybe not effective enough, but he's done that and still playing at a good level and still playing. So I touch on Beats, who was very, very good, and very likable as well. Very likable.
Beats was good. Beats had a great left foot. I remember we played with him in the Heart Senior Cup game against Watford when I virtually died in the 18. I couldn't get up, but Beatty skippered us that night. Made his debut for the first team. You can't take that away from him. You cannot take that away from him. Again, lovely lad. Lovely lad. Great cultured left foot. So I hold Clements in high regard. You hold Illyman in high regard. Harvey Scott Morris. If you'd done a Hall of Fame, you could probably put 1,000 of the BWFC Academy boys in it. But for me, Clem, in my opinion, nails down my 10th spot. I'm going to say you've got Frank Cater in your team.
I've got Frank Cater in my team. Frank Cater scored 30 goals from set pieces we're using one, probably more than that in a season. And Frankie, again, emphasises he was a lovely boy. Maybe too much of a nice boy.
Far too nice.
A really good technician. Yeah.
Far too nice.
He's a lovely technician. A lovely technician who would score so many goals from midfield. He had so many good qualities. He had one thing that really let him down, and then I think it became a joke in first team sessions. He couldn't head the ball for Toffee. I've never met anyone that couldn't head the ball. He'd do anything not to head the ball. He'd duck out. He'd do everything. But again,
unfortunately, that is part of the game. Frankie Cater, for you, the pullback corner, double Sids, pullback corner, and it used to become like a joke with you lot. Oh, the first corner, yeah, set up for kickoff. It used to become a joke. I think you scored over 50 odd goals that year from that first corner. The fact of the matter is, he made his debut away at Tranmere.
Yeah.
He played right at the free away at Tranmere. So, listen, I can't grumble that you put him in your team. With the personnel you've worked with, he thoroughly deserves to go in the team. He played for Bournemouth first team in the National League. He's currently playing at Harrow, and he's doing ever so well, the kid. So, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I'm not playing two deep liners. I'm not playing a deep liner. I'm going to trump your one. I'm going to leave my best, in my opinion, to last. So I'm going to put Pelly Ruddock up there. I remember Pell, I'm going to say it, off the record, didn't even get in the under-16s first trial. And I was watching going, nah, come on, he's unbelievable, the kid. Again, he gets around the park, got range, he goes and breaks things up, he's powerful. The stock one was when he used to go through people and he used to just barge people out of the way. He played 15 games for the first team in the National South. Probably didn't. We played Gateshead in a final. And I played Closey and Conor Lancaster down the right-hand side. And it weren't going our way. And that was Hertfordshire. And I know the chairman always used the tagline, you need a bit of North London. I needed a bit of North London. I put David Cisse at right back, and I put Pelly Ruddock right side of the 5. We were outstanding. And that was in his first year. He's gone and won a national cup in his first year. At that level, the Gateshead were strong. They were strong, and it was Hartbury in the semi, I believe it was. And you got to be honest, some of the teams that they played against was tough. One thing that comes to mind now, we took Hertfordshire to the final, and I'm going to say, probably going to do us a disservice for the first time in 15 years. And that's probably, I'm going to say, even longer. But we had the luxury of working with Hertfordshire because they knew how good our crop were. We took a load of our boys to trial, and a lot of them got in, and they said we started to build a relationship with the manager, so it allowed us to, or myself, to go over and start coaching and stuff. Sheffield Wednesday away, and he weren't allowed to play. Look, he was allowed to play. They wouldn't pick him. They wouldn't start him. And I went, are you for real? Yeah, we need to play this other kiddie. And I won't name him, but we need to play this other kiddie. So it's all very clicky, which for me didn't help us. But in saying that, the kid missed a pen for us to lose. So he done one of these ones. Little windy snake hips. And then rolled it back to the kid. But Yeah, listen, I remember it very closely. Away at Woking, him, Charlie Hunter played. Down at Dover, they played big games in the National South, and they played parts in it. So Pelly Ruddock for me is him.
Yeah.
Who's your deep line?
This is where you sort of get the gist of having to put Jack at left, Ezra at right. This kiddie, for me, since he's left, he's been the hardest to replace. I don't think there's been anyone in the academy that could do the role that he could do. You've already named him, and you probably wouldn't have thought I would have gone with it in there as a deep line. I'm going to go Josh, because I just felt whenever he didn't play, we were so open, because if you put Ez in there, Ez would run. He'd go running everywhere. There was nobody that had his discipline, his ability to go and play in there and just play things simple. And he didn't mind a tackle either. So he would go in there, and when I'm picking the whole team, Josh deserves a mention because of what he done, what he achieved at the club as an academy boy. And I feel he knits a team together really well. And again, he's been playing at Kings Langley. Now he's gone to Hitchin, doing really well at a level, and probably the most likable, nicest boy. He's very, very, very. He's Hertfordshire. He's so Hertfordshire. He's nice. He's kind. He's giving. He's doing coach. He's a coach now. So he was technically good off both feet. I remember some good times in the youth cup we had with him, and he was really, really, really good. So he didn't go and play as my forward. A couple more in midfield as well that come in, and there's one kiddie who technically wouldn't get anywhere near it. But when I talk about someone that's made an impact over a really small period, and I'm talking a period of about 3 months, he come in. He scored
I know you're going to say. So buzzing you said it. I'm so buzzing you said it. You know what? Because the chairman said, Who was the kid that scored that goal down at Brightlingsea? Was it Brightlingsea? And I went, yeah, I said the name. And he went, he's got to name him. And I'm so glad I've not spoken to you. I promise you, on my boys' lives, I'm so happy you said it. You said it.
The worst finish I've ever seen in my time in football. It trickled in. He had a straight leg as he kicked it, and it trickled in. And I've never seen somebody. He's a Royal Rover story. He come in about February, March time, and some of the goals that he scored and some of the contributions that he had, it was unbelievable. And for the rest of his life, I'm sure he'll go off and tell these stories and tell everybody about what he achieved. He won 2 nationals with us, and then lost in the final of the other national. He achieved loads, and I said he's finished. I just remember him celebrating after he scored. He just stood there.
Yeah.
It was an amazing day. Them memories I remember forever.
Have you named it?
No, he won't get it. No, Josh is in there, but I had to have.
No, but have you named him so everyone knows who he is?
I haven't. He's Kapui. He was. Yeah, so I haven't even named him. Yeah, he was. I'm sure he'd know if he's watching it. He'd know he was going to be in there.
Oh, listen, you hit the spot nail on the head. The kid can say he's won 2 national cups. Part of his football CV. The kid, he had no chance. He even told himself he ain't going to play at any level realistically. He isn't going to go with Spartan, of course, but realistically to push Ryman Prem and National South, he'd know within his limits. But he had a massive impact in them 3 months, pal. And I'm buzzing you've named him. I'm buzzing. I could have named K.O. Ocott, who is currently still in America, got a lovely family out there. I could have named Jordan Lawal. Wow. Kentish Town played us in a pre-season friendly. I remember the chairman. I got one for you. Who is it? I've got one for you. And that was him. Used to play like this. Used to annoy me. I honestly, wear an Under Armour. And he used to wear his sleeves like this. It used to frustrate me. But his mum's a beautiful, beautiful lady. Jordan Lawal could quite easily go into that 3, but unfortunately he can't. I've got Kabir Jitu, who played with Clem in that team. The likes of him, Rakim, Curtis. Kabir used to live in Edmonton, and he used to get a BMX with trip nuts and cycle from Edmonton to the club, cycle to the club, get on the minibus, play a game, and then cycle home. It's outstanding. Honestly, you go, Kabir, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm scanning. And you go down the A406 on his BMX. But again, great talent. But for me, we see him recently at a trial. And when I'm talking to the boys, I'm saying, for me, he's one of the most technically gifted, most talented footballers we've had through the programme since I've been involved in it, is Reece Tyson-Lazarus. He is, played at a good level. Went into the National South, Maidenhead, done ever so well. Probably didn't hit his potential level. Technically outside. I remember AFC Wimbledon, Chairman used to see, he used to scoop it up and he sidewinded it 70 yards to the right wing back. And it's like, you don't do that. You don't do that if you ain't got ability. But you hit the nail on the head. You got to have both. You can be technically good. You can be unbelievable when it comes to playing football matches. If your temperament's not right, you don't progress. And I remember George, his dad used to come through the door. I was fearful when I was thinking, I was going to put it on me here. And he was like, nah, I'll deal with Reece. I'll deal with Reece. But yeah, Reece Tyson-Lazarus for me, outstanding. And I look at that free midfield, Reece Tyson, Pelly Ruddock and John Clements, strong. So I have to say, great midfield free you, very good midfield free me. I'm going to say the chairman would argue the fact Joe Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Joe Reynolds, again, kept out in his Ryman Prem under, I think, 17, 18. Again, it'd be interesting to see what he says with other players. Michael Ballack, is it Elvis Ballack? Oh my God, imagine Michael Ballack. That'd be unbelievable. Michael Ballack through Germany, unbelievable. It'd be in any team. Elvis Ballack. Yeah, reminiscing some great stories. So good midfield three. I have to say, good midfield three. It'd be interesting. You know when you drive like Mario Kart and you go and you do your first lap. You do your first lap and then you go, all right. So then you go, do another lap and you go ghost car. So I'd want them three in their prime, so 17, 18, 19, to play your three, like the ghost car. And it'd be very interesting to see which way it swayed. It'd be very interesting. But in fairness, I can't argue with your three, and I can't stress how impressed I am with my three. So look, we have to move on. I'm going to say you're right of a five. You're right of a three up top.
Alex Morgan. Again, someone who went on and made their first team debut in the national. Again, another one we got under 16. He was a pup in his own year. He was a month from being the year below. He had all the tools. 6'2". He could, when he opened up, there weren't anyone like him. He could strike a ball right. Did he achieve at Boreham Wood what I had hoped? Because I felt at under 16s he was the most sought after kiddie around, because he went off to Reading and his dad come and saw me. He went, Cam, he's just not trying. What do you mean? So he doesn't put any effort when he trials at Reading. I was like, Al, what's up? He went, I don't want to go. I was like, Al, the Championship club, you've got a fantastic opportunity. I want to stay at Boreham Wood. And he loved the club, and I think his mum and his dad, they were superb. They loved the club, and they were great people. I think at the time there was such a good spirit around that youth team that they enjoyed each other. I felt that he tapered off from what he had, because I think if I had his tools, I think I'd have probably played in the World Cup final. He had that good a tool set, but without just lacking a little bit of drive and a little bit of determination, he scored some massive goals. He led the line in the game against Gleisner and in place of Bradley, and he was superb on the day. And I think the National Cup,
the chest, the volley in, he was powerful. Made his debut for the first team, man, away at Chester. No mean feat. I remember he went down to Barnstable with us on the pre-season training. So listen, I can't argue with that. I literally can't argue with you. I know where you're going with your striker, by the way. Yeah. I'm going to say my two up top. I could have picked Jay Brett, England Colleges International. Raheem Sterling Parker. He played 23 games in the National South. Scored against Bromley. I remember it. Little header on a corner. And he went mental. He wears his shin pads like Steve Claridge, all tucked in. but tenacious, love to score a goal. But unfortunately, them two don't get in. My first of my one of two up top would be Simi Akinola. I think, again, you talk about Sorba starting from the bottom run and progressing all the way through. He done that. I remember him really closely. And did he have natural ability? He had a trick. Loved the skill, but he didn't have natural ability. Didn't think like a forward. Didn't get into key positions, but worked at his craft, applied himself, would always ask questions and how to improve. And year after year after year, went up the run and up the run and up the run, played, I believe, 15, 16 games for the first team, set records, silly amount of goals in the national championship when we won the ECFA National Cup. So, yeah, for me, he has to go in. He has to go in. Your lone striker, I know who he is.
Now, Dom, in 3 years, he scored 200 goals within pace within the elite squad. He was a goal machine. Well, I mean, he would in training.
Are you counting training?
I'm not counting training. He 80 goals in his first year. In training, you might as well have gone and sat down and watched. He was doing my head in for straight ugly on the eye, everything. Put him out 11v11 anywhere around the penalty box. He's scoring. He was an old-fashioned throwback to centre forward, where centre forward were becoming quite dynamic, they get around the pitch. He was a throwback to the old-fashioned pin and set and play and just get in the box.
Where did he score for the first team?
Away at Torquay, falling over with a tap-in. And I remember I was on the bench that day, and he went running over, and it was
his wife has just given birth, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Like his wife giving birth. Bradley! Oh my God, I love you.
His mum and dad were there as well that day, which showed to go all the way to Torquay when he scored. He was a fantastic kid. He was a goal machine. He just literally, we were doing 5 sides in training. He'd be standing talking to me. I'm like, Brad, we're playing. He'd be like, yeah. He had no interest, I think, on it. He didn't have any interest. And again, he's another one that he's playing at a good level now. He's playing at Potter's Bar. I think he's been back a lot. He's another very footballing brain. He was a very mature lad for his age, strength-wise and personality-wise. And him and Sorba, they were like Pinky and Perky. Wherever you saw Bradley, you saw Sorba. Very two likeable lads. But I can't imagine in 3 years anybody has come to this academy and scored as many goals as he scored. And I think when you talk about football matches, it's about scoring goals, and he was that, and he definitely led the line. He was one of the reasons we were so successful in our years, because we had a goal scorer who would score any opportunity. So yeah, Bradley Stats wrapped up.
Again, he'd have a shout at getting in my team. Shane Johnson would have a shout at getting in the chairman's team. Chad Foster would have a shout at getting the chairman's team. We've had some good strikers. The one for me, though, I have to say, Ini Effiong. I had Jay Brett, Ini, Clem, Kapir just behind. Them three, as a front three, we're outstanding. And he's 6'4", probably only now, and he'd probably admit it, only probably now, figuring out his body. If you'd figured out his body at the age of 17, 18, yeah, I think he could have achieved a lot more than what he's currently achieving. But I have to say, yeah, he done ever so well through the academy, making his debut for the first team as well, playing for England colleges. Yeah, he's one of me too. And I could have had Robert Hastings scored away at Havant and Waterlooville. Remember a little teapot volley? Keeps coming through, just like a little lender over the goalkeeper coming out, and he's doing ever so well. I believe at Northwood, I've got Maxwell Holland that I could have had as a wing back who done brilliantly for us. James Blair.
Micah, I worked with Micah. Micah was a talent. Micah Jackson, is it?
Micah Jackson, yeah. Harry Hughes. There's so many boys, but I have to say your 11's outstanding, because I've had the luxury of seeing what you've achieved with them. They are outstanding. And Would they give my 11 a go? In my humble opinion, possibly. No, possibly. Because like you say, you put all your records up against mine, you're going to say, you smashed me out of the water. And then I'll temper that with, I've probably got another 180 odd first team appearances over you. Yeah. So you have to, both sides. What I will say though is, what a success BW Pace Academy's been.
I mean, the amount of England internationals there is
honestly outstanding. And you've not named Archie Pepper, Dan Crease, not named them two to start with.
Carl Roberts.
Jamie Lumsden, another England boy. So you look at that, I've got Corey Whiteley, I've got Tony Walker, Michael Abu, Dino Rubinia. So we could, I have to say, this was tougher for me than the National League 11.
Yeah, I doubt, yeah.
Because I could quite easily have had Lowell in it and KO in it, Yala in it, J. Brett Sterling Parker in it. I think there's a lot of close shaves. And I think Fraser, Tyson and Clements are nailed on. And it'll be very interesting to see what the chairman would say, his review on it. And he would need to talk to the likes of the Engwells, the Watterses, to get their sort of input. Because it'd be very interesting. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see their 11. But I have to say, for me, thoroughly enjoyable.
I've got one last note to say. That obviously, I want to mention the current crop. There's probably 5 or 6 in the current crop, which, if we do this in 6-7 years' time, that could well get themselves within a mention of it. You've got the likes of Darnell, who's replicating what Bradley done. Donna Kifiambo, he's scoring goal upon goal upon goal this season, the second year, and I'm excited for what he could do in his
was
first
he
year.
Top of the pile for the National Youth League?
He was, yeah. No, he scored. God knows how many goals he scored. I couldn't tell you a figure this year, obviously, because it's finished halfway without ending. So he would have been the leading goal scorer for me. He has kicked on this year. Donovan, who I previously mentioned, the goalkeeper, again, all the characteristics of a Boreham Wood goalkeeper with his distribution and how he plays. Remember his first trial. And then we've got Hamza and Luke Brophy, the 2 second years. Hamza, again, has been putting up trees this year with Brophy playing for England and kicking on. And 2 first years are exciting as Ellis Brown, you can see in the national quarterfinals, sort of he changed it with his appearance. Another one, Mamadou,
impact, yeah.
Mamadou, who I'm working with, trying to use Sauber as a sort of a template for him, because he's got that ability to go past people and excite people. So there's a lot.
Mum's good. Mum's was very good away at Sutton. Was very good, and obviously watching that game in their stand, you can see it technically okay. Got a trick, got pace, and he's direct. So yeah, no, I have to echo what you're saying about these 6. I think Hamza was a very talented individual. Luke Brophy's done brilliant England colleges international. Darnell, like you say, with Bradley Satch, he's mirroring up the goal scoring record. Donovan, I think technically he is beautifully on the eye, and even Martin Brennan suggests it when he's had him in with the first team. So no, I think what you're saying with regards to the new crop, in 5 to 6 years' time, could you be talking about their accolades and putting them in a team of the 25 years of the BW Pace Academy history? I just want to thank you, Cams.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure again.
Legend, mate. Thank you for watching episode 3 of Coach's Corner, BW Pace Academy 11.
Please follow our social media platforms on Instagram and Twitter.
Like and subscribe our YouTube channel.